What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back with another Siege double shot installation, and this time we're doing an SI style. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you say there, Whiskey?
Yeah, welcome everyone here this time to the South America League, where this is the six invitational open qualifiers. Love that we're getting a chance to community cast this and bring you a fantastic game. But first, wanted to show you who is left. If you hadn't been paying attention at all to the South America League, couple quarterfinal games going on today, right now. Elevate taking on the Pandiero Boys. That's going to be the game we're bringing to you first. Made in Brazil and Ninjas in Pajamas both playing for their opportunity, and only one of those two teams can make it through all the way to the end of the last chance qualifiers. So, our two teams, my friend, here we got the Elevate Academy. This is cool that we get a chance to cast these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for it, right? Bringing out that different style of gameplay. That's one of the reasons I love doing the different regions. A couple of names, if you watch this league, that you know and love. So get ready to see some of that aggressive action. But let's find out where it is that we're gonna be playing at before we talk strats here.
Yeah, that's right. It is the battle of the academies between these two teams. This was the old W7M Acad roster. So Elevate and W7M doing battle by proxy here. And it's going to be on Chalet. Definitely disappointed we're not going to get a chance to see Layer. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, still just not quite used to it, I imagine, right? But that's okay. That's okay. It's Chalet. It's your favorite map to start us out with a banger today. It's a best of one, a sprint to the end, my friend. And man, I just can't wait to get it started. We ready to go?
We are ready, my friend. Let's do it.
Okay, Chalet. Here's the big question mark. Does it follow the same sort of meta rules that we're seeing in the NAL currently? Is it a first floor fiasco, or is it going to be that traditional siege where you're seeing the second floor and the basement being those primary sites? Bands are going to tell us the story here, Whiskey. What are you thinking?
Oh, good question, my friend. We know that the LATAM and now the South America League, as it's newly called, loves the shields. And loves playing the shields and having the shields off the board because they're generally so good. So, not surprising to see Blitz. And Deimos was the other operator that made a huge appearance as part of the Montreal Major. Not surprising to see him gone either.
Boy, we are just flying through the bands. Azami going to stick with the regular band here for Chalet. Azami going to be gone. And if we're following the pattern, then it should be the Valkyrie to follow up. I think the fun part, though, Whiskey, Monty going to be left on the board.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting that they'd pick the Monty as opposed to the Blitz because of his mobility. We know generally the LATAM teams love to be a little bit more aggressive. So that Valkyrie Azami ban, though, just I mean, an incredible
Just
amount of
worldwide.
times we have seen that worldwide. Yeah, everybody does not want to deal with those two. That meaning all of the other operators have got something at least to balance them out, making them potentially a good pick or not. But you said it. I'm glad we're going to Chalet as the place to start. And interesting, going to start off in the basement, which in some of the NA circles has definitely been the tertiary or even the quad site.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many ways to attack it, right? Just looking at where you're seeing right now, trench, garage, back stairs, or west main, and blue hallway. There's four different ways to just attack that back side. Then you add in the verticality that Ram can open up, the garage is being opened, and that main stair, or any hatch play that are coming down. Like, there is just a ton of ways to get to the site. So you got to kind of lean into some of that area denial. Now, they did bring out the castle. I'm curious to see what we're going to be looking at here, if it's blocking off some of those areas of attack or if it's going to be used to help facilitate an extension. Either way, sounds fun. Area denial is going to be played by the Goyo. We're going to have a little bit of breach denial combo action between the Cade and the Tuberow, and then taking away that intel, which is so huge. Look at this. This is extended up to the second floor. This is kind of like what we've seen for geez, what's the clubhouse when they play all the way down at Church Arsenal with an extension all the way up, force you to take every single floor before you can go for the execute. This is exciting.
Yeah, definitely interesting that they're choosing to have such a huge extension. A lot of times you see that in the basement, and even more surprising for me, you've got the double shoddy there from the Cade and the Goyle playing out, and Goyle way up top holding on to this 2F location, but he's up there with Castle as well. So whether or not Elevate can find a way to just identify that you're having this big of a roam. Maybe there's an opportunity for a quick attack. They brought the Thatcher Thermite combo. They can get this wall open really quick, and it's going to be slowed down. I don't know if we saw that there was a Goyo on the on that door. So as soon as they open it up, that's going to go off and slow this down a little bit. So with a minute 50 left in this attack, got to start making some progress. I think opening up those sight lines.
Yeah, and it's going to be a dedication assessing out this top floor. You're going to see that both Ace and Ram have already put some dedication into trying to open that up and find out where these roamers are at. IQ down below looking for those specific gadgets. Look at that. C4 going to be off the board. So, yeah, interesting setup, and it's putting the work in. Not going to be able to utilize the C4. A little bit of disappointment going to ring out as he pushes that button. We still sit 5-all with a minute left on the board, or just slightly over a minute left on the board, meaning that this attack team going to really have to put some work in. The defense doing a great job at setting the pace very early in this round. So holding on to the long angles as the last 60 seconds going to start to ring out. Everybody now outside of the Thermite, who still sits outside of the map. And there's the first bit of engagement. Cade going to get taken off the board, but it comes at a cost. Naka has just a 5 HP in a dream scenario going on here after that exchange.
I mean, with 45 seconds left, I would take that exchange. Oh, he's going to get a double as well to go with it. But, I mean, in this case, 37 seconds left. Now they have everything they need to get the execute in place, and that's the diffuser going down.
Yep, and that's what you love to see. It's the 3-2-1 take it, and they find themselves in a post-plant scenario. 4v2, 3v2 as it starts to come back. Ion trying to find himself from the long angle, but it's going to get taken down now into a 3v1. The vertical trying to be the play here, but he's going to start to run out of time very quickly. Going to force down that staircase and put the pressure on towards the backside. The crossfire set up. Nobody looking, though. However, they're all paying attention towards that back end. His first contest at blue here. A quick pre-fire, goes down for the prone position, does get taken off the board. Looking for a second now, but nobody in sight just yet. Finds one on blue, on pace for the quad kill to be able to get this done.
No
but he
way.
went the wrong
No
way.
way. Oh, no.
There is no time to bring it back. The attack is going to find that
What?
first, even off the back of the quad piece.
Holy cow. I know that Levy.W7M there showing up as a quad kill there to bring that one back. What a roller coaster of a first round between these two teams. I mean, and we're sitting there at the 1 minute mark saying the attacking team had not done nearly enough opening things up, getting themselves in position. A double though from Naka back on the west main stairs puts them in a position to get that diffuser down, which they successfully do with 35 seconds left in the round. And then for the defense to come back from in the hole with the diffuser down and get a 4K off that, boy, just the Elevate team over-peaking from their confidence, I guess. I'm roller coaster of emotions there as that round played out.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we head up to the first floor. So it is kind of a nod towards that contemporary style of Siege. Yes, they started out in the church, but they recognize the first floor gangsterness that is Chalet. So we are going to see it, and going to be a couple of familiar operators being brought back up as they're going to yet again go up and extend to the second floor, which I love, right? It definitely forced the attackers' hands to seek out the roamers, to try to take that verticality, and then when all else failed, when time was wasted, they just get down and end up going for a plant. If the defense is a little bit put together, or there maybe a second sooner, then the last round potentially has a different outcome.
You said Monty was left on the board. He makes his appearance here from one of the old Fluxo players. Again, a fantastic team. They even got a skin in this the R6 share store this time around. So making his way onto this Elevate Acad team. But playing the Monty and making it available here for the first floor, that's going to change up the way that I think this round plays out a little bit. I love that also Fuse bringing out the shield, and I'm still amazed by the number of times we've been seeing Fuse without even using any of his utility, just brought along for the shield, that being enough.
The unintentional side effect of buffing the shields was more fuse play. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I am not mad about it. So they're gonna go quickly here. What you're looking for, folks, is for them to open up that first wall up top, put some pressure on, force them back off the vertical so they can open up down below and start to go for the plant off the chassis there. Now, they didn't bring a dedicated hard breach, so gonna have to be relying on those can openers instead, as they've already used one of them.
Look at this.
Interesting.
That whole sequence completely fell apart there for the attacking team. It was a great job by the defense, using the combination of the Cade Claw and the Tuber House to try and just slow that thing down. I mean, they wasted a whole minute by making that combination of gadgets there, and another great job by the defense. But the problem is we saw that in the previous round and it fell apart at the end. This defense couldn't close it out when they had a little bit of an advantage, and now it's looking like we're seeing the same kind of thing. Attackers starting to gain an advantage late in this round when it looked like the defense had done everything they needed to slow it down.
Oh man, barely gets his shield back in time to save himself. It's a two-piece that he's going to have to be looking for, and they're going to find one. Cade goes down, now puts us into a 4-2, into a 3-2 as they answer back. It's 39 seconds left, and they're going to be back into a post-plant scenario again without having gotten the walls open. So Hunter finds Levy off the board, now takes us into a 3v1 as they're going to try to put the pressure onto the Fuse up here, and they're going to get him down, now puts us into a 2v1. Got to have 7 seconds, folks. That was the bane of their existence on the last run, was they just didn't have enough time. They were able to get the kills done, and with a Monty still active on the board, this seems like it could be difficult. But that new patch, right, you give it a couple of hits, you can get that shield to turn around, potentially put it, so gonna look for some action from the crossfire. But Whiskey, he's running out of time just again, not enough time to get it done. 2 alive. This is gonna be another win for the attack.
Yeah, the attackers played that thing perfectly as it went down, able to hold the vertical as he rotated down with the Monty downstairs. Just again, well played there by the attacking team when it looked like they had been slowed down enough. So the Pandiero boys have to find a way to close out rounds, at least when they gain a small advantage, because it certainly seemed like they had it, 30% into that round after that first minute, and sort of fell apart from there. And just great execute there from the Elevate team. That combination of using the shields and the Fuse upstairs to bully the players upstairs and allowed the Monty to get downstairs, plant almost, it seemed, unnoticed by the defense, and then didn't give it away, didn't throw any bodies at it this time, and held on for the win.
Yeah, well, we talk. You hear it talked about all the time that Siege is a game of two halves, and these two teams are playing two different types of that, right? The defense is doing a wonderful job at stopping that initial push, right? They didn't get that front wall opened up. They didn't get the main breach opened up down below. An effective use of Caden and Tuberau to take those can openers off the board, but the mid round adaptation is where it's coming in clutch, because they're not freaking out when they're like, we don't have a way to push in anymore. Instead, they're going, okay, head to plan B. Now we just got to go punch them straight in the face. And that's exactly what they do. They walk in, they take the space, they get the plant, and then all of a sudden you're in a post plant. Lev going to find that first kill as they take Iana off the board.
Seemed like one of the things that the defense had been struggling with, now opening pick here for the Elevate, or for the Pandiero boys, and both teams really, I think, spending a lot of time gaining and clearing map control here on Chalet, right? It's basement opening with Hibana when you're playing a first floor site, and you're seeing the Lion upstairs in library. They're definitely making sure that this defense does not have control in any particular place. But the danger is, if you're a little bit too spread out, defense might be able to take advantage of it. But boy, not when Mr. Zell there takes one off the board to start 2 minutes into this round. Bodies are sort of falling almost in single engagements. Doesn't feel very coordinated right now.
Yeah, we'll coordinate it on the other side, right? The predators are coming out, and there's the first bit of
Holy
exchange that we
cow!
have. Yeah, is we're gonna give P a double, take Ion to give him one as well, and that just puts the body balance huge now in favor of the defense, who are on the precipice of finding their first round win in the bit of the round rotate. A quick pre-fire on the door, nobody there. Flash comes to the other direction. Oh, the hatch drop, the siege timing finds one off of the jukebox, comes around to the main lobby. He's looking to get himself a second, but not gonna be
Whoa!
done. I'm gonna answer back and take him off the board.
Wow. We said that they needed to find a way to convert to that early advantage. They got the opening pick that round on the Iana. Needed to find a way to turn that into a round win. That time, Pandiero Boys managed to pull it off, and so I think we're going to end up in well, relatively. We got a little bit of advance notice, some pause coming out. So I think one of the things we want to talk about maybe is if you guys are just joining us here for this SI Invitational Open Qualifier, right? That is what we're getting a chance to see. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up a bracket there while we wait for a minute, right? These are all best of ones too. That's the other thing I think that was very surprising coming into this LCQ was all best of ones, right? Elevate, Made in Brazil, MIBR, NIP. Only one of each one of these games is a best of one, and only one can make it through the SAL LCQ. Two of the teams coming out of this qualifier are going to fight for the playoffs. They're going to take place in 2 weeks, but man, that is just not a lot of spaces for some great teams.
Yeah, no kidding. And best of ones means that you have to be perfect and on point every single game, right? There is no comeback. There is no, well, we'll take them on the second map. It just doesn't work that way. You have got to be on point and ready to go. I love best of ones for that exact thing. It's a wham bam, thank you, man and ma'am. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in the playoffs at a chance to take on the greats.
Yeah, that's right. And we are back. Speaking of the greats, back into this game between these two teams, Elevate and the Pandiero Boys, the former W7M Acad roster. So we talked about at the beginning, Battle of the Acads here. And speaking of back to the basement, we're not going to see a 2F as they follow the site rotation back down into the basement after winning their first round on the bar site.
So what's the adaptation here by the defense, right? They're going to bring out a little bit of intel this time, which is crazy because I would have figured maybe we'd see that K two-barrel combo that works so well on holding that first floor site and that second floor extension area, but instead bring out the Mozzie to take away that intel and gain yourself that very same intel. Mute to take it away.
I
And a
love
little
that.
bit of area denial by Goyo.
I love that if you saw all those mute jammers right at the bottom of the blue stairs, right next to the mud room on 45, right, just blocking off all of that space, so that way he's able to play on the stairs and deny any of this intel coming in. If the attacking team doesn't know that he's playing in that position, right, maybe walking out of mud, maybe walking in through that fireplace door into line of sight. So that's a great use of the mute jammers there to try and block off all the intel that this attacking team needs to try and make the push. And yeah, they got downstairs, they got that main breach open, but the runouts. I love it when teams start to get a little bit more aggressive in that case, right? There's no need to run out with a minute 45 almost, more than or just about half this round gone, but it just shows that they developed a little bit of a confidence coming off of their round 3 win.
Yeah, absolutely. And still holding on to that extension, right? You've got somebody that's playing live up top. Now, it was switched. Frost was sitting up there on that 2F location to hold it down. But they've switched, and now Mozzie comes up and takes the place inside a piano. Frost rotates down and helps to support that first floor. They've got the intel, though. Could be a bit of a wall bang to try to take them off the board. But, like, it's down to 60 seconds yet again, and they haven't dealt with the roam on either floor, right? Is second or first, which means, yeah, they're going to have to do another quick insight and hope that they can hold on to the cross here. It seems like they're playing pretty fast and loose with the clock.
There's still two attackers that were on the 2F with a minute left in this round. Yeah, there's a quick execute. Okay, now they get a double 3-4. Holy cow, leaving P in a 1v5 scenario. Boy, we were just talking, felt like that this was an unwinnable situation for the attackers with so many left upstairs, but they have turned in what seemed to be a disadvantage into a flawless round. Boy, Elevate Acad right now is definitely surprising me with the way that these are playing out, and it's making it difficult to predict which way these rounds are going to go.
Mhm. Well, it's as Coach Yali says, right? They are Elevate Academy is like 100% hitting all of the boxes. They're checking them all off. So while it seems like not much is going on, what they're doing is strategically getting their players in place so they can hit the 3-2-1 and just collapse. And that's exactly what you're seeing, right? It seems like this drawn out round where nobody has died, no engagements have happened, but really what they're doing is they're just making sure that they've got the intel to win their engagement. And then all of a sudden you hear the countdown 3-2-1 and they all drop at the same time and quickly find yourself in one of those 1v4 situations, which is where we saw a couple of different times. You have one operator, and yes, one time they even got a quad piece to bring it back, but they still did not win the round. So it's working out very well.
10 seconds remaining.
Completely echo it there. I mean, yeah, what they're doing working very well right now. It feels like Elevate is taking advantage of any of the little mistakes that the Pandiero boys are making and shutting it down. They're playing very spread out, and right on basically every round we've seen from both of these teams, very roam heavy. Chalet is a relatively big map, right? 3 full floors. It's not as quite as spread out as Layer is for sure, but the fact that we're seeing such a spread out both attack and defense from these teams, I think, is pretty surprising.
Look at this, a smoke, double smoke. They drop the glass down to say hello, takes a shot off piano's going to
No
find one, a
way.
C4 to
No
start us
way.
out on the backside. So all of this talk of just not being any quick action in the beginning of the rounds has changed up entirely, as now we find ourselves in a 3-2 with Monty and Glass still left alive. So split up down onto the first floor, West Main and Kitchen. The pressure now from the vertical going to be really start to be put on for the last 2 minutes.
2 minutes, you said it. Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it go like almost all 10 players left in the lobby with 45 seconds left. In this case, we're down to just the last 5 here, with more than half the round still left in play. And I definitely like the way that we've seen the Pandiero boys change up their site setups, change the way that they've approached some of these. But right now, they're just struggling to gain a ton of traction on Elevate. Yeah, they did manage to win the bar site back on round 3, but that's really their only point of success at this point, because we've seen Elevate also win in a flawless fashion. So playing the vertical, but no. I was gonna say would have loved to have seen a C4 there, but none on the board for this defense.
So they do find the Glaz off the board. So now it's going to be the Ash Monty combo looking for the plant, looking to put them in that post plant scenario yet again. And they've got some intel as the pings come out. So looking towards the backside to catch one, get that body bounce in their favor so they can start to do some of that plant action, which they've been so
There it
successful
is.
with. And there it is. Yep, Monty takes us to 50 to 75. They
No
catch it on
way.
the cross as Levi finds him off the board. Now all under the shoulders of Ash, and there's 40 seconds left. And what has been a very dominant attacking sort of half is going to find a defense with their second round.
All right, so we do see them win this again. Boy, it felt like this Pandiero boys team was sort of struggling to get anything to happen, to make something happen there, but to come up with a win, the shot on the Monty, that was the game changer. That was where the round pivoted, and he was getting the plant down, but just good coverage this time, not from above. And that really feels like what between both of these teams, we're seeing a ton of adaptation, both in the way that the sites are being set up and the way that the holds are coming in late in the round, right? That was completely different than the way we saw them play Kitchen back on round 2, where They were very, very heavy holding upstairs, this time taking the hold back into the trophy side and holding from the long angles and without the aid of a Mira, even though she was on the board. So it was, to me, very interesting to see the way that this whole thing is sort of playing out. Uh-oh, and it's gonna be a
Oh, look at
rehost, my
that.
friend. Our first rehost for the day.
That's right. Game one, rehost one. Hey, it wouldn't be live siege without some of those live siege issues, right? So here we are. We're going to start it out right. We're going to hit our own little check box, a little bingo card action, if you will, as our rehost gets done. So, folks, we're going to get everybody right back into the lobby. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, it's going to be the stunning conclusion of the first map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. Rehost is done data, which means we can get back to the last round of the first half of this map. What you say there, Whiskey? Back to the first floor.
Yeah, sounds like found maybe potentially two interesting new bugs coming out there. That definitely kind of funny, the way that that one played out. Seemed like the defense was unable to select the site that they wanted, which is what caused the rehost. And then the bans, even though they were put in, the game went through all of the animations. So it took an extra minute and a half there for all of the ban animations to happen, but they were all black screened because everything had already been picked. So sort of funny way that that whole thing sort of shook out. But it's a new season. We're still finding stuff, still finding some interesting bugs as this whole game is being played out. But you said we are on the last round of the first half here, and it is a best of one. So only one of these two teams, the Elevate Acad and the XW7M Acad, now the Pandiero Boys, can make it through here to the South America League SI Open Qualifier. Only one can prevail. We've seen some definitely action on both sides, change up in the way that the rounds are being played, but both teams being very roam heavy pretty consistently. No bunkering back down to site with a minute and a half left in this round on either side, both being very aggressive in the terms of how far out away from the bomb site that they've been playing. So I love seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going back to that first floor, which is where they've found success, I believe, on both of their round wins, which, makes sense. It's what we've seen across the world, is that first floor being kind of the accepted better sites at the moment, because you can facilitate that huge roam game, that extension, right? So that would play right into the hands of this defense. There was a little bit of contention, right? Legion got reduced to a very low HP, but we got Doc on the board. One full stim brought him right back up again. So we are sitting in that first floor, and you can see that the defense has got those Cades going to be blocking off that first floor and the second floor at the same time. Let's write that down, Whiskey.
Okay, first floor, second floor being held on. Love the way that that is being played out. Interesting though, they know exactly where that Cade Claw is at. I don't know whether or not you can shoot that from the piano. I'm guessing you have to be able to not put yourself in danger from the blue stairs. So they've got good identification on where all of these defenders are playing at. They don't even necessarily need the Dokkaebi call there. But I'm surprised. Did they have a shield? No, they did not have a shield on top blue to try and protect the warden. It seems like a mistake.
Yeah, potentially, but you still have to get that wall open to put the pressure on, right? And that Cade Claw putting the work in for what the shield would be doing, because you can't just take the swing, and it's going to be an easier one from the staircase. So they do find two kills off the board as Doc and Cade get taken down, but we're back into that low time scenario here. Now, the attack team has been really thriving on this. Their collapse onto site didn't go exactly as planned, as there is still more than one left alive, but they're going to find the warden off the board, and they're going to take that space, and now it has become quite precarious here for the defense. Looking for it, looking towards the head, doesn't find it, and that's going to be, another 5v1 scenario. Make it 5v none. It's a flawless for Elevate.
A 4-2 half there, sort of the standard split, with Chalet being a little bit more attacker-sided. This is our first game that we've had a chance to cast in the South, the newly formed South America League, because it's very recent. This open qualifier being basically the first that we're getting a chance to see how the SAL teams are combining and playing this thing out. But attacker-sided Chalet, not surprising there. But then just sort of the way, like you said, the way that that thing has played out, Elevate has been doing a fantastic job in two flawless rounds there. It goes back on 4 and 6. They've been able to pull that off. Fantastic round for them to start this thing off, and putting the Pandiero Boys in a little bit of a tough spot. Even though if it's attacker-sided, they've definitely got the opportunity and the ability. So we'll see how this team plays out. They were very roam-heavy on defense. They took a couple chances with the runouts, so we'll see how aggressively they're going to play on their attacker side.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do? They head down to the first floor, right? A little bit more in line with what they're thinking. They're going to go ahead and start there and bring the castle to help facilitate that extension up top. Now, this time, however, they're putting a little bit of opened up some of that those cross angles to really try to hold this top floor. And they can bring some fun like operators on the attack side of it. You know it's going to be aggressive. You've got the Ying on the board. You've got that newly reworked Blackbeard, which, mind you, seems super fun, albeit a little bit broken.
Yeah, I mean, so Blitz was banned out here. The Monty, we saw Monty played a few times on the Elevate from the attack side, but I don't think we saw the Blackbeard make an appearance. So even though I know we've been hearing this talk that Blackbeard has a little bit of a maybe a broken mechanic, maybe a little bit overpowered in some situations, but in this case, hadn't seen Elevate sort of lean into that. So they're going to use, I think, probably a better attacker for Chalet specifically, using the Flores to try and clear out some of this defensive utility. I think that's a better use of the operator pick long term, but they still have got to win a round, still got to find a way to make it win, and this feels a little bit slower, at least from an engagement perspective. All 10 left alive here in that first minute of gameplay.
Yep, they're going to start putting the pressure on right now. They took that space into the main lobby. They took that space into the mez area. And you can see Blackbeard starting to get active. Now, here's my favorite bug of the new season so far. And honestly, I hope it never leaves because it's super funny. Is when they go to run and it still does the walking animation. Like it just in a slight hurry. Like, I've got to get there. It's my favorite one so far. So they take that space whiskey, and you can see that they're starting to go.
Wow!
The free fire as the Ying comes out, and Fenrir going to win that one. And it's going to be Zofia taken off the board as he also loses his life. Castles goes down, Warden falls, and now they find themselves in a 3-2 scenario unless they can get this castle back up off the board, and they won't do it. That kill gets confirmed now into a 2v3 with 63 left on the board.
Well, and that was the Blackbeard, I think, grabbing two, running that DMR balanced on top of the shield. It really almost seems like a impossible mechanic for somebody to actually do in real life, but right now it is working out here for Semper. And still playing on the bottom of the stairs. He doesn't have any of his grenades left, but he has got the ability there to just pop that shield back up, take a look, see who's playing, grab some intel. Not enough, though, to save his partner from hopping in the window.
Yeah, we knew. I guess we didn't know, but the Blackbeard we rework in ranked is unstoppable, and I imagine that translates over just a little bit. Being able to have a shield and that devastating DMR when you're making the push in and still be protected is absolutely huge, and I imagine we'll be seeing that all day today.
Yep, we did. We're going to be covering the NA, the North America SIO Last Chance Qualifiers here. When those games start up at 2 p.m., just in about an hour from now, we're going to see those games start up and get going. But one of the things we saw from that yesterday was the Fluffy Aimers doing, I think, a little bit of trolling, using a triple shield attack, and then bullying and beating up on one of their opponents early in the bracket, using the triple shield, including the Blackbeard, to just use the stun animation on a defender over and over and over again for about 60 seconds. So whether or not it's going to be devastating in the comp scene, at least it's making for some funny moments to start off with.
That's right. Double up on the shields for the side of the attack as they're going to bring out both the Blackbeard and the Monty. And with the Sens on the board, also newly reworked, right? This is something I'm really excited to see. How are they going to use the gadget now that you're able to turn it on and off? Right, that you can get all 4 of your gadgets inside and then just in a matter of seconds, walls up, everything is crazy. And with the chaos of 2 shields and potentially some stolen equipment, some air jabs that come in, this could make for a really impactful attack team if they can get themselves set up and situated in that same box checking method that we've been seeing Elevate do.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? The Sens and this new rework is very tactical. It requires a lot of planning and setup to be able to make it happen. But as you talk about it here, some of it's working. No, unfortunately, the shield goes down early. Even though the Sens gadgets block off the view from over on the other side of the map, it's not enough to save him as the player in stock wasn't cleared out.
Yep, seems like a little bit of a miss there as they went to make their push in. But the attack team quickly finding quite a few kills as they find themselves up in the body balance yet again. It's a 3-2 scenario as they still have got the shield on the board. No air jabs left in the gun, but that means that the flank potentially going to be devastating should it start to happen. One in sight, one in the mud room is where they're going to have to take this cross from. So Blackbeard going to have to be able to look two ways. We're looking for the third party from above to flush out this mud player or potentially take the vertical onto the player in sight for them to be able to get themselves set up for the execute. Still got 2 more sends on the board. Still have 4 of those wall bashes or those shield bashes that Blackbeard brings to the tables. So the thing is though is did it change? Oh,
I was gonna say this huge rotation around. They left their positions, used the basement and the upstairs to rotate and flank the attackers, and they trade there a 1-1 now with a minute left. So it's a bit of a game of cat and mouse at this point. Look, you got Warden upstairs being blocked off by one of his own, one of the own barricades.
look at this. Now the cross set up. They're just
Oh
no. Sheesh. A little bit scarier than you'd like to see there. It's a good thing the homie came up with the shotgun to help out. Was he out of bullets? Was he putting his goggles on? What did he do when he made the swing?
Yeah, that was seemed to be an ill-timed and ill-executed swing for sure, giving Elevate another win that time on defense. So that round definitely seemed like a little bit of a comedy of errors there from the attacking team. Right, you had what looked like an interesting execute getting set up with the combination of the sends. You had the shield jumping in downstairs for very direct sight execute, and it all sort of falls apart with the stock player just taking down the shield right as he hopped in. Completely fell apart at that point. So, as you were talking about, how is Sen's going to change up the impact of the game? Saying that it need to be a very tactical kind of an execute as opposed to just a Thatcher thermite blow the wall open kind of execute. We'll see whether or not that makes a big shift in the competitive scene here. So, but we saw that first instance, right? Sen's coming out, at least the team starting to try and explore how that new mechanic can change up their attack.
Yeah, and I like the way that it went down for the most part, right? If they had got a little cover on the shield, forcing that player back into the closet could have been a little bit easier of a take inside the window. Instead, he, of course, did pay for with his life, which was part of the initial, oh man, that is going to stop the push, right? That is one of the spearheads taken down off the board. It just wasn't covered quite well enough. So we're all going to see Thatcher go
What?
down as a bit of a spawn peak rings out. Jesus, that's going to keep them guessing. That's going to make it a little bit tougher, right? Because now as you start to approach the building, you're going to have to be aware of that. Yes, they get him up, but the mental damage has been done on that part of it.
It's the first time we're seeing the basement here for this attack team. We saw Elevate go there to start, so the Pandiero boys going to leave it as the third option that they're going to have to fight through here. Bringing out the Twitch. Oh, wow, interesting use of the impact. Looks like they may have been able to take off a ton of this attacking utility, but the good news is for the attackers, they've got the wall open, so at least that piece is there. But from the defensive side, now, interestingly, this is one of the first times I think we've seen most of this team back on site with 2 minutes left in this round. It is just the Legion playing upstairs in Trophy, and that's relatively close to site as well, holding on top. So, very bunkered back down, and it's not working out for them.
Yep, just push into blue, but he did it by himself. So unfortunately, A's going to lose their life in that last exchange, not being able to buy a kill here in this later half here. But now in this 3v2, they got inside, they took the space, they took the real estate, and find themselves in a post-plant scenario yet again. Or not they find themselves, but we find ourselves in a post-plant scenario yet again. So this is where we kind of say the Boss G can be a little either high risk, high reward or situation. They find one that equalizes on the the body count now. They're able to put a touch onto the Thatcher as well. That'll give them the body balance and put them ready for a potential post plant. So get one close, get one diffuse in, a couple of quick peeks, but you know what? Walk in from behind.
What?
You still have to pay attention.
No, did they line up? Oh, I mean, he got a double just taking a shot at one there at the last second. What a round there to holy cow, my friend. Yeah, the Pandiero boys making something out of nothing. It felt like they got the diffuser down, but great work on the flank there to be able to shut down the basement. So I know you talked about early on when we opened up at basement that was sort of that quad site, the least favorable of the sites on Chalet in the current meta. That one shows why. Diffuser goes down, attackers win that one, and they're getting one round away from tying this thing up. And honestly, I was expecting Elevate Acad to come out a little bit stronger on their defense, but the attacker-sided meta Chalet is holding up.
Yeah, it is holding up, absolutely. Of course, they're getting aggressive with it. They're finding that early on both sides of it. That's what makes this so exciting. So we are going to see the Blackbeard again, right? It's just proven to be one of those spearheads that is. No, it's quite effective bringing out your primary weapon with a shield. So yeah, I think we're going to see it again. This time, the big play will be trying to see if they can keep their other shield player alive long enough to get that plant going down. No distraction this time outside of the Zofia charges, but they brought in some stuff to help that push just a little bit with the floors on the board, right? Help get rid of some of that extension util, specifically trying to get those frosts off the board.
This one of the things I think that Elevate Acad has done a little bit better here as we've been through the first 3 rounds of their defensive half is doing a little bit better job holding some of those exterior angles, holding some of those longer angles, making it difficult. But, right, it hasn't translated exactly into round wins because we've seen 2 of those 3 go to the Pandiero boys. So whether or not they can convert it, they're doing a good job holding those angles. But falling apart when it finally comes time to it. And you said it. I love that the combination of the Flores and the Zofia. That is a ton of utility clear here for this team.
Yep, starting to make that push in as Monty's taking up that space. Everybody inside the building now, outside of the aforementioned Zofia and Flores, taking a look towards the head holes. They've got a good setup here, right? Everybody sitting up on that second floor outside of Legion.
Wow.
That's going to be a huge first kill, right? Wasn't in the building, still had Gadget to be used, but they take the Flores off. Rotero drones gone, which means some of those frost traps, some of those Legion goos, some of those rotates that were just head holes going to remain that way.
Yeah, that's a big piece of the attacking lineup there for clearing out the defensive utility. Gone. Huge early on in this round. And interestingly, that was, I think, the first C4 kill that we had seen today. It seemed like the C4s had sort of an outsized impact in a lot of the games that we had watched as part of Element 4. This time, though, very little contribution here, at least in the South America. There's the next one. Holy cow. And as we're talking about it, Elevate gets another. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely devastating, right? you get the flank from Frost that takes down the Blackbeard. You send a C4 onto the balcony, which finds another. And just like that, you find yourself in a 5 versus 2 scenario with 45 seconds left. And one of them only got a pistol. He's going to have to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to find that first one. They get the down. Give him a second one. Just like that, we get taken down into a 2v1. It's 33 seconds left on the board, and it is all up to Ion, but he's been having a banger game. I guess that that name is just synonymous with greatness in whatever leagues they do. Ion in a 2v1, 19 seconds left to make this push. He's got to find one to get close. If he takes the Legion off the board first, then it's just a couple of bullets towards the backside. So the self-flash makes it a little bit tougher. 9 seconds as he starts to make that swing. Has to compete with the long angle onto the hallway and the desk, and it's going to be the desk that takes him down.
Yeah, in a pre-fire scenario as well. He knew one of the players was back in the corner there, but it was the Warden, and no possibility of gaining any advantage using the flash, even though that first one went off in a rough way. And so we went into that round saying, okay, the Pandiero boys are 1 round away from tying this thing up. They were also 1 round away from getting Elevate there on match point. So here we are, round 11, first match point here of this game. And Elevate's got 2 opportunities now to close this thing out before we hit overtime, meaning Pandiero Boys got those 2 opportunities to send this one to overtime.
Okay. Got to be perfect for 2 or this best of 1 is over and done. And what do we see on the side of the defense? They're going to make a little bit of a switch up. On the potential last round here, they're going to bring out the cap can, right? Double shield duty was happening on the attack side, so he said, you know what? Let's just slow them down a little bit. Even if they see them, what is that going to do? It's going to force you to look down every single door, every single window, and that's a pace setter, right? Combine that with the castle to hold that verticality up top. This is a good defensive setup to try and put it away, Whiskey.
Yeah, the combination of needing to identify it and then either needing a buddy to shoot them off for you, or you have to de-shield and pull out your weapon there to try and clear it off. So, and then having to reload, right? It just eats up a ton of time or requires you to have a pair of attackers together working in tandem to try and clear that out. And that doesn't even count the fact that they might be catching somebody off guard. So great change up here from this defensive team. You said it. I like the change up. An attacker-sided meta for sure here on Chalet, but right now, Elevate, I think, has got a little bit of this upper hand, so Pandiero Boys are going to have to come out swinging and swinging tactically here to put a hurt on this Elevate team.
Yeah, swing or be swung, but do it smartly. I like it. Okay, so they're going to go from the bottom up to get some of that clear going, a little bit of pressure put onto those solarium stairs areas. That has become one of those critical push points when you're trying to take that top floor. And look at this engagement coming out already. Going to see 2 ring out onto the defense, which puts the body balance into the hands of the attack, but Ying goes down and the swing onto the window. So now into a 3-3 with plenty of time left on the board. It was a 3-2-1, but it equalized on both sides, Whiskey. Now, except for Cade, of course, being that low HP, he is just a bullet or 2 away from being ended, but push successfully stopped.
The third, I can't believe that we said the C4 had not been very impactful here on this game so far, and since I said that, we've seen 3 of them come out. That is unbelievable here for this team. What a round, but taking out the Warden and it matches this thing up in a 2v2 with 1:10 left. You've got some vertical control from the defense still, right? You still have got the Two-Brow playing upstairs in office, holding down. That's a problem here for the attackers because they've got 2 playing in sight, and they've got some sight control, but basically no place are you going to be able to get that plant down in a protected space.
Look at that, and just starting to open it up to put the pressure on the potential for the planter there, and they are going to find one. And now Ram, the last soldier alive to keep this round going, to keep this team alive in this best of 1, has to have a successful plant here. They're going to jump down. They're going to throw in the... They're going to get it, but it's going to be shots
he won it!
The back, but
he won it!
Figures out a way to take it. Post-plant scenario. No way. Give it to him. Attackers going to find a win in what seemed like a little bit of an impossible situation. Says, you know what? I got a little bit of adaptation in me. I got a little dog in me. Gets in, makes the plant, finds the 1v2.
Oh, man, it feels like a little bit of a mistake there from the defending team, right? You have the vertical coverage. There's no way the defenders can plant without being taken out from above. You get the first one, and then what do? Rotate back down and take the fight individually rather than holding the vertical and cleaning it up? Why would they make that change up? Great job there by the Pandiero boys to find another win and extend it when it honestly looked a little bit hopeless, but Elevate threw 2 bodies at it to give the round away and give them one more opportunity. So Elevate had another opportunity to force a regulation win from this team, but Pandiero boys needed to be perfect for 2, and they got 1.
Okay. 1 down, 1 to go. That looks a lot closer in the needing 2 on a match point scenario. And that was just quick action, right? Push in, punch him in the face, then regroup for the mid round and try it again. And it worked. It worked incredibly well. Even though it was a dicey situation, they overcame. So what does the defense do to try to get their win here? You know they're going to see that shield yet again. They didn't bring the Capcan this time. There is a focus on the slowdown with the Frost and the Malusi, but outside of that, this is definitely going to be something that Shield's going to be able to walk in and start to make that impact player yet again. Leaving a default up is a little wild, though.
Yeah, boy, that definitely a little bit of a miss on the attacker side here. Whether or not they're trying to bait out something, maybe, but yeah, just in the heat of battle, you're getting into it. You're one round away from overtime, and it just feels like maybe you made a mistake here at this point. So they're gonna work the Flores and try and clear off some of this utility. This time, keeping himself alive long enough to be able to use that utility, because we've seen the Flores go down early on at least 2 of the attacking rounds here from the Pandiero boys.
That's right, and he has got 2 of them. But look at this. Blackbeard already made their way into the building. And you know what? Says, I'm just going to push up and take this top space. He's the lone person alive inside. This could be a bit of a misstep. No buddy system in play, which means if the pinch is happening, they're going to find it and they're going to suss it out. But instead, really, it's just making these defenders kind of fall back, thinking maybe that there's a bigger presence coming their way than actually is. Warden going to take a flash onto the stairs as he doesn't have his special goggles on just yet, but still, no engagement.
It was a conservative approach there from Elevate, right? You had the Frost playing in office, putting pressure onto Fluke Balk, but as soon as the Blackbeard comes up, takes a, clears out one of the barricades, gives the sound cue, that's when Frost makes the rotate out of there and back towards the library side. So it is definitely being much more conservative in the way that they're holding this, pulling back closer to sight and holding on to this cross, that mez top blue side, and they haven't given it up yet. Finally clearing out that shield, gaining a little bit of space, but they still have got a lot of work to do to gain vertical control above, and we still have got at least one of these attackers still hanging out outside on rappel.
Yep, absolutely, and they're going to find themselves another kill, which puts them highly in the body balance. The flank does come up, and they are able to find one. That's the Flores off the board, but the damage has been done. Nomad now also goes down as they're able to find a little bit of that first floor action, looking towards the vertical here, as that's what's going to need to be the play, but they take Mute down, and now all of a sudden it's a 3v1, and Blackbeard is still one of the ones alive, and they still have Bs. Instead, they're just going to go ahead and end it, and you know what? Let's see some overtime.
That's right, my friend. We are going into overtime for the first game here in the South America League Open Qualifiers that we brought here on the Siege Double Shot. Neither one of these teams content to do it in regulation. And if you're just joining us, you picked a great time to pick up this game. Unfortunately, it's a best of one between these two teams. Only one team can make it forward and get that opportunity to try and continue their LCQ run for the 6th Invitational. So you have to win this game. No other opportunities, no lower bracket, no best of 3. It is all coming down to this. And this time, overtime between these two teams. And we're going to start off in the basement again here. Elevate running it back for their round 1.
Okay, back to square one in this best of. Gonna take it down to the basement. Like the Oryx call here, Whiskey. It's fun. It's inventive. It keeps your presence on the first floor and the second floor. Will it be enough? I don't know. We're going to see what the dedication is here to the roam game. It's going all the way back up top, which is interesting. With a defensive spot where there's so many ways to attack, flooding sight and getting a plant down and forcing a retake is a highly probable scenario here for the basement area. So a 2-floor extension seems like maybe a bit excessive, but if it pays out, I mean, and I guess I'll eat my words.
I mean, it's interesting. Elevate picks this as the location. We saw it back on round 9, and it was one that the Pandiero boys did win. So the sites that Elevate won on defense was the bar site they won and the 2F they won. So I almost thought we were going to see the 2F site come back again, so it feels a little bit of a dangerous pick. Maybe it's because they wanted to play it first, and then hoping they're going to be able to take their attacking win against this team and then able to close it out on 15. But the combination so far, Pandiero Boys had done a good job. They got their attacking half, same as Elevate did. So they're putting in the work and making it happen here. And now they lose the opening engagement, giving this Pandiero Boys attack a little bit of an advantage again.
Yeah, and it was the Fenrir, right? So any of those gadgets, wherever they were at, that's where they'll stay alive and stopping whatever push. No way to be a chess player. So open up a little bit in the trench area with Ace as he's looking to hold on to the pillar to catch that first bit of rotate. Almost saw himself one there as they start to push up. Tubrow looking to get active onto that trench door. So looking to try to potentially put the flank onto this gentleman. Instead, he's going to find him one. Looking for a second. Doesn't actually take the shots. Instead, he's going to rotate out as the body bounce is now heavily in favor of the attack side.
Yeah, that was a huge miss there from the Acad, turning his back. I think they realized that that wall was open, but unfortunate there to walk out. But like you said, answered back. Finally, it's not going to be a flawless round here. They're able to come back with a double to even this thing up. And Mr. Z sitting at that 7-5-1, doing a great job now that Mitrix is off the board.
Tubrow finds his life forfeit as now they get the Oryx and Legion.
No
Give him
way.
a double. He was just absolutely ready for it. Finds both of them, and that's going to be the attacking win. That's the danger of playing in extended basement right there, is that you can just put the pressure on site and catch people slipping as they're rotating back towards it. And they did a great job of just being in place, ready to handle that out.
So 3 attacking rounds in a row there for the Pandiero Boys. Round 11, 12, and 13, the first round of overtime. They pick it up and win it. Now we're going to see a little bit of a pause there coming out just at the last literal second there of the lobby time, setting up for a bar gaming. So from the bar gaming side, how the Pandiero Boys did, they won it back on round 3 and then lost it on round 6 flawlessly. So it's, I guess, a bit of a coin flip to see. I would have thought that, again, the Pandiero Boys would go back to basement because that was their, or not basement, the 2F, because that was their more successful round, I thought. So interesting to see it, and we talked about it. The Capcan making his appearance this time on the other side of the map, and I think that's the first time for the Pandiero to bring out the Capcan on defense. We saw it on the Elevate side.
I think it's the right call. Right, you know they're going to be aggressive, trying to find some real estate quick and easy to get a plant going down, especially because of them being so spread out for their last couple of defenses. You know, it's not a bad idea. Give yourself more coverage, more real estate to cover. Back it up with Castle for the extension and Legion to help slow them down, and Fenrir as well to obscure that vision as they make the push. Right, if you have a Monty pushing in through that game's window, doesn't matter if you're yinging the hell out of it if you can't see from the purple clouds.
It's a good point. And I mean, Levi's sitting 5-7. I think he had a stronger first half. Again, these stats are all after the rehost there, after round 5. So we're missing those first 5 rounds of stats. But right now, I feel like the second half of this game was certainly all Elevate the first half. And even the beginning of the second half of this, we thought back on round 8 that this was going to be Elevate's map to win. And it has sort of fallen apart a little bit for them, and the Pandiero Boys have shown up exactly when they needed to. And Capcan going down with the shield slam.
Yep, the coveted shield slam, and they're going to see the Finka LMG reach out and touch Legion. That's going to take us into a 5v3 now. The pressure for the defense going to start mounting incredibly as the time ticks down, and it's the buddy system in place. They both make their way back to games. Might see a collateral situation like we've seen before. Levy to take one off the board as they're going to find the first bit. It's going to be Finka going down, but he loses his life in the process now into a 4v2 as still still, Whiskey, there's still like a minute and 35 left on the board. Just so much time to get in. And once they know that the defenders aren't in a position to stop the plant from that window jump-in area, that's exactly what you're going to see. The push in, the take. Now, Monty gets taken off the board, and that was a huge miss, leaving him alive in there. Now, they still have the Blackbeard going for the flank. Doesn't hear him. Are your headphones on?
Oh,
Geez,
no.
Shire shots towards the back, so his location, if they're paying attention, is revealed. They're looking for him, so takes a couple of shots there as Blackbeard reduced to a really low HP, but the plant does go down. So a W in favor of the attack team if that's the side that you're pulling for. It's a tough situation to pull yourself back from, and Blackbeard is able to finally take that.
I mean, definitely it felt like just the way that castle took down, like, it seemed like at least 2 people's worth of HP, but didn't get a kill for either of them, and it seemed like Elevate was almost clueless as to what was happening in that engagement between them. So at the end, though, it didn't matter. They came up with the win, and we are seeing double overtime for the first game here on the South America League. I mean, we're going to be heading almost straight into North America League at this point, because this game is giving us everything we wanted. A best of one, single elimination bracket. Only one of these 2 teams gets to move on to the semifinals for their opportunity to try and earn a place in the Open Qualifier playoffs. Only one can do it. So here's the opportunity. Which one of these 2 teams are going to be? The Elevate Acad team or the XW7M Acad? Now, the Pandiero Boys, a couple of Mexico major past winners on this team. So love to see what they can try and do here. Both of these 2 teams deserving of an opportunity in the playoffs, but only one can get it.
10 seconds left before insertion.
You set the stakes, and they couldn't be higher for your chance to achieve greatness. So, what do we see on the defense? It's the same sort of thing. It's exactly what you've been seeing all night long. Slow them down, stop the jump-ins, and potentially try to take down some of this shield usage. Speaking of shields, they brought 2. Monty and Blackbeard going to be back on the board. Great at taking that real estate, Mr. Whiskey.
Yeah, so like we said, the Pandieros won 4 in a row, or 3 attacking rounds in a row, and only stopped because they were on defense back there on round 14. So this would be the opportunity to win a 4th attacking round in a row if they can win and move on. So Elevate is going to have to do something that they have been unable to do so far, at least in the second half of this, is win a round on defense. Hold down Chalet. So it's, well, that was a funny, again, animation seeing the rappel happen. But one of the things Elevate was very good at was the C4s, and got only 1 on the board, or 2 on the board here, still left alive.
Yep, okay, so they do take the space in the library, but it comes at a cost, right? He's reduced to a lower HP, and they still got to deal with the shield, and there's going to be Grenade to go out and do just exactly that, as Blackbeard and Monty have solidified some real estate up here on the 2F location, put some pressure onto those head holes. Didn't really bring much to actually get the wall open outside of, like, the Maverick, which I guess is an option, right? I mean, it's not a bad play if you're going to be focusing on really just taking real estate and pushing in the old-fashioned way. I like the Maverick for its ability to catch somebody slipping, right? It being silent, it being the way that you can open up without having to or open up a couple of those kill holes areas where you can catch somebody slipping on something that you can't quite see as well. Either way, they're going to start to open up on that main floor. Who did they bring along to? Oh, Zofia to open up after Maverick gets the job done. So potential to push up onto the half wall. They get it done. It just takes a little bit longer as we're down to 50 seconds now.
Look at that. They were using the Monty to protect Mav as he's trying to get this open. But no, he has to walk in front. What a mistake. I was saying that they were using the Monty to protect Mav as he's trying to get this wall open. And then he does exactly what he... what they were trying to avoid, was just walk right in front of Monty. Almost loses his life, though. He stays alive, and this right now looks like it's sort of falling apart. I was going to say for the attacking team, but the trades are just ringing out with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, if you're gonna put yourself onto the map, you better be able to get that dang wall open. So that's a huge misstep. And even if it is, they're just gonna walk in and
No
find it.
way.
They're just gonna walk in, hold, and through the purple smoke, find some victory. That was huge. I thought for sure after they stymied the approach of going in through the wall that you had to walk through the doors that your life would be forfeit for that. But no, they find the engagement. Zofia comes up with a huge double, and that's it. Just like that, it's over and done.
Holy cow, my friend. Like 20 seconds, 30 seconds away from the end of that round, still had no clue who it was going to be to win it. And the Pandiero boys were just unstoppable on attack at the second half of that map. I mean, it just came up strong for them to win 4 attacking rounds in a row, including those overtime victories. Oh no, 5 attacking in a row for that team. So they were ready on Chalet and they put on a show. Elevate Acad unfortunately out in the single elimination best of 1 bracket. At least it is qual number 1, so they do have the opportunity to come back and fight through the entire bracket again on qual 2, but it's a long road to finally get to the quarterfinal and then to lose it. So unfortunate for them, but big GG's obviously for the Pandiero boys making it to the semifinals.
That's right. Hell of a game. Took us all the way to the end. It's exactly what you want to see when the stakes are so freaking high, right? Every team firing on full cylinders. Banger game.
And really unbelievable as well. If we take a look, the bracket was up, and we're going to switch it to the NA bracket in a few, but that's the South America bracket is up, and all of the big teams lost. Elevate goes down. Made in Brazil, MIBR goes down in an 8-7 victory as well. That was on Diane Extreme. And Ninjas in Pajamas also goes down in a 7-1. They got slammed. So it's huge. We're gonna the whole South America bracket right now was not the T1 pro teams, or at least the some version of the old T1 team. So that's huge. This South America League bracket, I don't think ended up in any way the way that everyone expected it would.
It's a whole Cinderella story. I'm excited to see who finally makes it out when the dust settles. Okay, folks, so we're going to make a little bit of a switch now as we head into the NAL. So give us a few to get that set up. When we get back, we'll be bringing you all of that North American action as they try and vie for their chance to take on the big names in SI. So sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you another country's maps. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We don't want to keep you waiting. We've got a little bit to get these next teams for the NAL into our lobbies and set up to bring more Siege to you. So we're going to send you to some other Siege, right? We're going to send you to one of our friends' channels so you can keep that Siege action going. And when we come back, as long as those noties are on, you're going to hear that we are back and ready for the NAL. So a quick raid, a thank you to everybody that stopped by to watch some of that SALSI play. And then we'll see you as soon as we're back.
That's right. We're gonna take you to the semifinal game that was playing out between the Pandiero boys and the team that beat MIBR Vivo. So we'll send you over to that game on, I believe, on Dianic's stream. So appreciate everybody joining us again for that South America League, and we will be back with the NAL in just about maybe 30 minutes. So looking forward to that. SI Open Qualifiers, my friend.
That's right. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts, it's the scene closing time. As always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can come back here.
Ayo.
Let's go.